There is more going against the state of water and sanitation in the country than there is going for it. Debo Mofokeng, a lecturer in the Department of Civil Engineering at UCT, points out a few challenges the sector is grappling with. These include audit reports that show that most municipalities failed to achieve a clean audit. Added to that is the aging infrastructure that is also pressured by the sprouting of informal settlements across the country and illegal connections. Mofokeng says the unpredictable weather patterns resulting in frequent droughts and more rain add to the strain. She says because of these reasons and significant delays in investing in infrastructure, achieving SDG Goal 6 in 5 years is not attainable.
Definitely not by 2030. A lot of the big water infrastructure in terms of dams to augment water supply that were meant to be built 10, 15, 20 years ago haven't been built. For example, the Lesotho Highlands is late by decades, and that should have been built a long time ago. So I think it would be good to find continuity, because I think maybe 15 years ago we had a good plan to try and make strides to meet some of the SDG 6.1 goals, but changes in ministers means that some of the good technical ideas that were there have not been implemented, or have been delayed, or have been given to contractors, and things haven't moved, and we've spent the money but we can't show anything for it.
Despite the delays, there are more households now that have access to piped water. But according to Stats SA, there are still 3.4% of households that rely on unsafe water sources like rivers, streams, springs, dams or stagnant water. Mielani Holeni of Ndiso Consulting says the water issue has the real possibility of becoming like the Eskom crisis.
The matter of driving the access to water, access to clean water, as well as installation of water pipes, in all the different areas is still a priority. We also know that with regards to the energy crisis that we've had, water could be one of the crises that we can suffer if we're not looking after the water bodies, the cleanliness, as well as getting water into the households. But the important work that needs to be done is obviously in the infrastructure side, where infrastructure constantly has to be refurbished or renewed, as well as the installation of new infrastructure to cover the 29%, which is not quite covered within the current, access to water. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Whether we can reach the SDGs remains, I think, on the balance.
In the budget speech, the National Treasury said it will spend 156.3 billion rand over the next 3 years on water and sanitation infrastructure. But the water sector still faces a significant funding gap driven by aging infrastructure, inefficiencies and rising demand. According to Rand Water, in 2023, non-revenue water averaged 47.4%, up from 37% in 2014. It says the total debt owed to it by municipalities is over 8.1 billion rand, with the top 4 defaulting municipalities Mfuleni, Mirafong City, Govan Mbeki and Randwest City owing a combined total of 4.2 billion rand.
We have a culture of non-payment, which we have inherited from the apartheid system, which was a tactical move to demand better services from the then government. That culture has followed through. So we're using water, we're not paying for it. We're using water in a wasteful manner, and most municipalities struggle to account for how much water everybody is using to manage. Private sector playing a role makes it tricky in that it's hard to find a system where you can have your return on investment, because water is a right, and we have that 6,000 liters that's free, and most municipalities haven't ring-fenced the collection system for water and sanitation so that it stands alone, and somebody who's looking to invest can see how much money do you actually have, what is the value of your infrastructure, what is your operating and maintenance cost to be able to make a business case. So I think maybe we need to look at like your Rand Waters, like your Umgeni Waters, like your water boards who have better governance, But I think all the layers of responsibility and control, especially from a cash flow perspective, make it quite tricky for the private sector to play a role at a local government level.
Going forward, we ought to be looking at how to get the infrastructure to be at a quality where the water losses are reduced, where the non-revenue water losses are reduced as well. And we tighten as well the collection systems as well as the revenue systems. And that centers around the revenue value chain, ensuring that the value chain functions, there's no breakages, there are no leakages, and all the aspects, that must be done to get a bill that must go to a customer. Of course, on the proviso that the service has been rendered and the water has been delivered and measured accurately such that, the consumption is known. So all of those factors are crucial.
Poleni is calling for a regulatory body to be established that can drive issues in the water sector. Treasury says efforts are underway to introduce an independent economic regulator to ensure fair pricing and sustainable management of water services. At the same time, government says reforms are underway in the rail, energy and water sectors to improve the functioning of these services. In the water sector, it says the focus remains on improving municipal water services and promoting private sector participation. Diabosito, SABC News, Johannesburg.
It's been better not